Who is David Byrne? How did you get into golf?
Golf kind of clicked, and when I was 13, I really or 12 or 13, I kind of started really getting into it. It is the most addictive drug in the world.
I was afraid of failing because I had done one thing for 20 years with the hope of getting somewhere and not getting there, that I went, man, like, do I want to spend the next 20 years doing something and still not get where I want to go?
I want to be known as, maybe someone who's highly intelligent to go get a golf lesson from.
So welcome back to Cracking the Success Vault. Today's guest is David Byrne. Most people would call you a professional golfer. We chatted a little bit about the whole card situation and all that stuff, a little intricate in your guys' world, but recognized PGA of Canada golf professional.
Yeah.
Won the big break, which
Won the big break.
I loved watching as a kid when I was younger. In 2012.
2012. Yeah.
Which was fantastic. Have played on tour before.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of going to get into a lot of different things. Obviously, you and I we don't know each other very well.
Yes.
Met each other over the last couple years.
Yeah.
You always do the Beat the Pro at the golf tournament that we host, which hopefully you have fun at.
Of course I do. I have a great time.
And then recently I had a really good round, and now we've started to chat a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I've always been into golf, and this is going to be a great conversation because like I said, we had some interesting conversations there over the last couple of weeks. But let's start sort of from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, who is David Byrne? How did you get into golf? What do you think were some of the things that your childhood taught you and lessons you learned to get you to here?
Very loaded question. Thank you for having me. What got me into golf, honestly, my mom was a professional figure skater. My uncle is a really good golfer. Most people know Matt St. Louis in the area. I played hockey growing up, like most people from Canada. And I was a decent skater. I wouldn't class myself as a great hockey player, but I was a pretty good skater. And my mom did a pretty fantastic job of just kind of putting me in everything. And something about golf kind of clicked. And when I was 13, or 12 or 13, I kind of started really getting into it. When I was 16, I started seeing a little bit of success. I qualified for the U.S. Junior and whatnot. And at the same time was kind of becoming an advertisement on the boards when people would catch me. And I am not the toughest guy around. So I made a decision kind of in grade 12. That was it. No more hockey. And I was going to play golf and kind of pulled the George Costanza. And I got MVP for a little league game and went out on a high note and haven't been back on the ice since. Don't miss it. Don't miss anything about it. Just love golf. And kind of after that, ended up getting a golf scholarship, went to Detroit Mercy, big break, turned pro, all these things. But my uncle was a really good player and my mom was a really good athlete. And so kind of being around them, I got into golf and hockey and all that. And then ultimately picked golf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just like one thing. You didn't see something and wanted to imitate yourself after somebody. It was just you had an enjoyment for the sport.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you were good at it.
Well, we're all bad at it until we get better at it. But I was also at the same time that Tiger Woods was coming up. Okay. And Tiger made golf cool. Tiger made golf to a point is now where a 15-year-old came and got his first lesson the other day, and I said, "Why do you want to play golf?" And he said, "Because my friends do," which just wasn't.
Right.
No, that's not what happened. Right. At least when I was growing up. So he had Tiger and how great he was had a huge influence on me loving golf and me wanting to get better at golf. But I just always played sports, and I wish I always had a better answer of why do I love golf, right? But it does something for me and to me, and it can't be won; it can only be played. And I don't know if it was that, I've learned a little bit more about myself as I've gotten older, but weird to say that when I go to the golf course, I think about golf. I think about chipping and putting and wedges and wrists and doing all these things. When I drove here, I thought about 45,000 things that I needed to do. Thought about this, wanted to go here, didn't do that. Oh, I should do this. Oh, I forgot to get back to that person. Should probably text this person. And golf is the one place, weirdly enough, that it kind of
everything just
allows me to focus on golf.
Right.
And as I've gotten older and kind of understood myself a bit more, I assume that's kind of what really kind of got me to kind of really kind of fall in love with it. But look, man,
I mean, I can relate to that too.
Right, like you're starting
Swimming
to play
was
golf.
the same thing for me, right? Like, yeah, I watched some Olympians when I was like 7 or 8 years old, in Atlanta, win medals and stuff like that. And you're like, cool, this would be really great to be an Olympian and all that kind of stuff. But it was like, well, I was doing soccer and I was doing volleyball and I was swimming and I was doing all these different things. And swimming became that thing because when I was in the pool, it was just me in the pool. Yeah, I'm around other kids and there's other kids in the pool and all that kind of stuff, but it was just me in the water. Right. I could make myself as good as I wanted to make myself.
Right.
And nobody could decide that for me.
Right. And like my one big thing, I always think about this. The one game I played hockey and I got 3 goals and an assist. We lost 5-4. I'm actually not that good. It's just a good example. And we're inside or we're in the locker room and we're all so upset and disappointed. I play pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think I like the honesty of golf. Like you go out and you shoot your score. Okay. You know what? Sometimes I go out and it hasn't happened in a minute, but I shoot 80. Don't particularly like to, but I did it. I sucked that day.
Right.
Too bad. It happens.
Yeah.
But when I would go and have a good day playing a team sport and we'd lose and I was supposed to be upset, but then if I played terrible and we won, I was happy. And for me, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Right. And so when I would go and I found a little success in golf and it was like, hey, you won this or qualified for this. It was like, yeah, like I put a lot of hard work in. My mom made a lot of sacrifice. I feel great.
Right.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
And then, kind of like anyone who kind of gets into golf or plays golf, it is the most addictive drug in the world. Yeah. Okay.
Especially if you're a hyper competitive person.
Right. And you want to get it. You think you can get it. You want results to be faster. You don't understand why they're not. You like it's really wonderful. And as I've gotten older and I started caddying at Bel Air and I started being around people who have a lot of influence, I started to appreciate golf for what it really was. Not a game that I wanted to be good at, which is very true. But a lot of people do business on the golf course. You go on the golf course and you go, hey, I made double bogey, bogey, bogey. Well, suck it up. You got 15 holes left and you're going to have to figure this out, right?
Yeah.
And when I was a kid and I would hear these things that people would say these things to me, it teaches you a lot of life lessons. A hole is like a day of a hole of golf is like a day of life. I hated all these things and I hate cliches.
Yeah.
But as I get older and as I'm about to have a kid, I realize that, my ability to talk to a 4-year-old and a 75-year-old and sit down at a table full of elder ladies and sit down at a table full of juniors probably is because I grew up on the golf course playing golf with other people and learning how to do and figuring it out myself and being around other people. Right. It's just a great game.
Yeah.
It's
interesting you say that because I think a lot of things, business, personal, family, whatever, sports, you've said lots of things on Instagram to me personally. And then I also saw you share yesterday, I think it was Annie Van Dam's
yes, her whole thing
Instagram
about
post about grinding, and she was +3 after 6 holes, but then went 7 under on the last 12.
Right.
And to her, it was all just mindset. And I keep hearing you being like, well, I'm just here to get better. I just want to get a little bit better, just a little bit better. And the fun thing about golf is you can always get better. Right.
Yeah.
It's funny because I came to you, 3 weeks ago, being like, hey, I shot my best round and I'm a hyper competitive person. So I'm like, well, now I'm going to set this big goal and I'm going to do all these things. And it's funny that I had my best round ever and I still left the course going, I left 6 shots out there.
Of course. And
It's-
you can go out and shoot 59 and say,
I could have got
can't
2
believe-
more
I
there,
can't
or
believe
whatever.
I missed that putt on 8.
Right.
Right. It's like, it's just, there is always that with golf. Right. And, as people get into golf and, you know, there's this idea, there's this hope that you can get good quick. Right. And some people do. Right. But there's always plateaus and levels and whatnot. And, you know, for me kind of getting into golf, it was just my uncle, you know, nobody has ever really said anything poorly about him. He's a really wonderful person. And my mom worked really hard and always said, you know, David, if you want to do something, you can do it. You don't have to do what everybody else does. You know, I went and she was a Canadian figure skater and taught and still teaches and all that. And it just
were those
was my
lessons
thing.
that they both taught you as a young kid, that you can do anything you put your mind to, or, you know, just go and work hard and the results will come? Like, did you have a lot of that stuff being like, well, if this is the thing I'm going to choose, I just have to work hard at it?
I don't know. Like my mom's work ethic, my mom has an unbelievable work ethic. She works very, very hard. My uncle was just kind of he won club championship at Sun Creek a lot, and he was a really nice player in the area, and people would come up to me and say, hey, your uncle's such a nice man, right? Or he's such a nice player. And in the golf world, and if you want to be good, right, you kind of want to be like somebody, right? And I always looked up to my uncle so much for that. He wasn't like overly vocal about anything, but he just kind of quietly went about his business and was like very well loved. My mom is more so like work hard, work really hard, and you know, and you know, you can make some things happen. And luckily for me, you know, I kind of, I guess, took that to heart and saw what she had kind of done her whole life. And my life has been fairly wonderful because of it. Yeah. I've gotten pretty lucky because of golf.
Yeah. And I saw that post with you and your mom finishing at Roseland there, which was super neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay.
Young kid, go to Detroit Mercy, big break,
Yeah.
a couple things on tour. You and I had a conversation about just how tough it really is to make it on tour.
Yeah.
To the PGA, Live Golf, whatever. When did you start to have those aspirations to do that? If you weren't the kid at 13 being like, I want to be like Tiger, when did those aspirations start?
I always wanted to play on the PGA Tour. I was never good enough because my short game was always great, but I hit the golf ball like an idiot. And when I was my senior year in college, my coach, I still call him, he's like one of my best buddies. His name's Luke Lefebvre. We went and played Michigan State's event, and I was 66 the first 2 rounds. And he said, good scores. And I said, well, that's interesting. Thanks. And he's like, have you ever thought about, you know, like maybe turning pro and giving it a go? And I was like, no, it costs so much money and I don't really come from that. And he's like, you put yourself in place. Like, you shouldn't have shot what you shot today, you know, and it's a credit to you. Like, you know, have you had any lessons? I'm like, no, I couldn't afford them. And he was kind enough to kind of take me under his wing for 2, 3, 4 years and really kind of get my golf swing in shape a little bit. And that's when I decided to kind of like, after school, the big break thing came about and I wrote in for that. And if you're to accept money on the show, right, you have to turn pro. And so that's kind of how I turned pro.
Okay.
A little bit different than some other people for sure.
Sure.
Yeah, that's just kind of what ended up happening. I always wanted to, didn't think it was really a reality. And then when I went on big break and then I ended up winning it, and some doors opened and I had moved to Florida, things started happening. I started playing some better golf. I met some right people, played well at the right events, found a little bit of a sponsor. And then I was kind of off to the races and started playing professional golf. And at the time, it was very good. Now, it is very incredibly good.
Right.
It's impressive where it's at now.
Yeah. How so? Just because the game's changed?
So
people are people are hitting the ball way farther than they used to.
It's everything, right? Like I always have, there's like this whole like who's better, Jack and Tiger, and I know different generations say you can't compare and yada yada yada. I always have the argument I think Tiger's better because Tiger beat 200 or 300 people, plus Jack beat 10, 12, 15, 18. Okay, I understand. I've heard the arguments back and forth.
Yeah.
The thing is that now there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of guys who can probably win right now on the Corn Ferry Tour, which is crazy to say. That's the Corn Ferry. I'm not talking PGA. Okay, I'm talking Corn Ferry, PGA Americas. Okay, we just hot off of a week of the BioSteel Championship here. Winning score was 18 under or something, 19 under. The year before it was 28. I just played a mini tour event. I shot 69.70. I haven't been over par in a tournament in 58 days, and I am doing a podcast and not on tour.
Yeah.
Right. 69.70 wasn't the worst at one point in time.
Right. Yeah.
It's just everyone goes pretty deep now, and people hit it longer, and people are in the gym, and we have pressure plates and TrackMan and club fitting and all these things. Right. We kind of like anything, like any sport, it's kind of
progressing itself.
Yeah.
Do you think that swimming had the same thing for me? So. Growing up, it was all just, Speedo brand. There was very few TYR brands, whatever. And then I swam in the period of time, there was about a 3 to 4 year window where we were in full body suits.
Okay.
Carbon fiber things meshed between two suits. You didn't even need to work out. The suit just held you in the right body position.
Right.
And world records were just being smashed left, right, and center. And then there was they banned them. You could only wear a suit from hip to knee. You couldn't use full body anymore because they just saw the technology getting absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You see that happening in golf?
It's a tricky thing, right? Because there's this whole golf ball rollback that's supposed to happen. But you play golf now. Golf's not that easy for you.
No.
Now, you've put together some nice rounds, of course, okay? But it's not that easy. Now, the PGA and these officials or USGA are making these ideas that we're going to roll the golf ball back. And I give a lot of lessons. There's a lot of people that would just love to hit it 10 yards further because they don't swing it fast enough and they're not our age and, or, they're a lot older than us. And they want to enjoy the game more. They don't want to just kind of bunt it out there. And all of these things that we have make people enjoy the game more.
Right.
However, when or if this does happen, we are, in my opinion, probably catering to the 1% of golfers, a little less than the 1% of golfers, and making some rules and regulations that's going to apply to everyone else that's not really going to benefit the game of golf.
Right.
People in golf like to say they want to grow the game, but then they don't. It's just
make decisions that aren't growing the game.
Yeah, they just say that so they can say that they say that, but nothing ever happens. It's like a really thing. It's a lot of people do this in life.
Yeah.
But they're, the PGA's less sponsor spots, less Monday qualifying spots, right? We're not exactly growing the game, and then now we go and we might roll back this golf club or the golf ball. When the time was, probably 20 years ago to do something like that or make the head smaller and whatnot. And I'm not sure it's for the best, but.
And that's one of those things that I think even in business that you just there's so many uncontrollables that you as a business owner or you as a player or as an athlete don't get to control.
Yeah.
But you still have to operate within the confines of what's
what
being
you're supposed
changed.
To be doing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that something you think just comes along naturally with golfers or athletes in general, that we become very good at weaving and changing direction and changing paths because we're just so used to things being different all the time and changing?
In fairness, I feel like I'm not intelligent enough in the business world to answer that question.
Sure.
I don't know much about anything other than golf things, and I have so much to learn on the golf side of things. I always just feel like most issues are just kind of resolved with some sort of communication and understanding. Like, I've given you a golf lesson when we're trying to get your grip a little bit less weak and you don't do it, I say, Sean, get the grip in your fingers more.
Right.
Okay. Problem solved.
Right.
Not like avoiding this whole issue here. Like, I don't know. I'm not deep enough into my business probably to properly answer that. And, you know, that would be something I need to work on. I definitely lack a bit of a business mindset. But I do feel as I've gotten older and I start teaching people, I had 2 lessons this morning, both athletes, both former, like pretty high level athletes. Incredible how different I treat them than people who, nothing against anybody, work at a desk, just picking up golf at 45, blah, blah, blah. Guy comes in and both of them have happened to play baseball. They come in and, you know, I'm reading that they're pretty athletic and they can go and do this. I'm going to give them as little as possible and solve my problem this way. Right. Whereas someone else who comes walking in and they're briefcasing their bag and you can tell they're not very mobile. Well, I'm probably going to handle that a little bit differently and change avenues. I think the thing is that if you're teaching golf, you probably better have a pretty good idea of doing something more than 1 or 10 ways, because we all learn, think, feel, act, interpret different. Right. So that's my spin on your answer. But
I mean, listen, and I would agree with you, because there's, you know, it's the, you know, I know you hate cliches, but it's the old, you know, there's so many ways to get to 9. You have 4 plus 5.
Yeah. There's a million
6 plus 3, whatever.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways to do the same thing and get the same result. You don't always have to attack it from the same way. Right. Okay. I mean, that's interesting. So let's talk a little bit about some things that you have. Well, actually, before that, you're at a position right now, which we were talking about in the last couple weeks, where you're not going to be playing as much full time.
Right.
You're transitioning now to a dad life, which, you know, I just had 3 months ago. You know, married, kind of, I'll say ing on from the thing that you were doing. Sure. Right. And I had that 15 years ago or so, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What are your feelings right now about where you're at, what you think you're going to do?
So,
you know,
I don't know. Like my feelings are generally, I have a lot of them and they're generally all over the place. I feel seemingly everything about everything. I am proud of how many years I have been able to play a fairly, I guess what other people would say, a fairly high level of golf. I understand that me waking up and saying to my wife, hey, I'm going to go to Toronto for 3 days before a golf tournament probably is not going to happen. Me jumping on a plane and going to certain areas just for invitationals, at least in the near future, probably not going to happen. Right. And that's okay. I'm going to be 38. My life is ready to evolve.
Right.
That doesn't, there's a part of me that understands and knows that this is the right thing, this is the best thing, and this is what's happening. I'm excited. It's great.
Yeah.
There's also a part of me that I don't really know what it's like to wake up and not go get better at golf in some aspect. Go to the gym, go to the chiro, go to the physio, go hit a ball, go hit a 5-footer, or whatever it is. And the reality is that my life isn't going to be set up to have that happen.
Right.
Which again is fine. I know that I'm still going to play competitive golf. I'm not going to just not play golf anymore.
Yeah.
I did that for a year or so, and I wasn't the best version of myself. So that can't really happen.
Which we talked about. Because when you're a hyper athletic person, hyper competitive person, and there's something that you just love doing, you can't just not do it.
Like even you helped me out with the Toronto Players Tour event at Roseland. that event all came about when Zoe was sleeping kind of in the car, because we'd gone to Montreal for kind of our baby moon / the PGA of Canada Championship. And we were going to spend Sunday together, but I went and played Royal Montreal instead. And then I went.
Zoe's used to this kind of thing a little bit.
My wife she's an angel. She's the best. And I was driving back. I had shot -6. I'd finished T11. Last day I went par double bogey to start. Awful. But shot 5 under on the back, or made 5 birdies on the back, kind of grinded it out. And I just like, how do I not play an event at Roseland? And I used to never understand when guys like Tiger or whatever would say, I just love competing. And I was like, that's weird. I just like playing golf tournaments. I've realized that after thinking about it for so long, I really do just love competing. And I also have a sick sense of self-belief. Yeah. I know what I shoot, and I see that. I've seen that. I'm not silly. I'm painfully self-aware. I know, I fully believe that I can win on a professional golf tour right now looking at you.
Right.
Like, in my heart, I know that I can do this.
Yeah.
So I have to find a way to somehow stay involved and whatever, and then maybe go to Champions Tour Q School when I'm 49 or whatever that happens.
Right.
So I'm just, I think like anyone, right? When I had moved back home from Los Angeles, I had gone through something, and part of my life was changing, and I do well with change once I get a routine with it, but initially it's not. And when, after we have this kid, the day after, like, I'm not going to get up and go to the golf course, or the day after that.
Yeah. You're going to want to.
Or the day after that.
You might want to.
I promise you I'll probably want to.
Yeah.
I'm just going through the emotions of becoming a new dad. I didn't really have my real dad wasn't really around. Had a lot of father figures in my life. Played competitive golf, to be honest, playing okay competitive golf right now. Trying to kind of grow my golf business and teaching and falling in love with these kids I teach and helping people out. It's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah. But also saying or putting a little lid on that little area of my life that meant so much to me for a certain point in time. Mm-hmm. I'm learning how to go deal with it.
Right.
I wouldn't say that I have any proper, real, thoughtful answers, but
yeah.
I have my moments with it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's natural. I mean, I think I had the exact same thing with swimming, right?
Yeah.
Like, swimming was done. It was something that between the pool and dry land before and after and weight sessions and all that stuff, I was gaining 7, maybe 8 hours a day back into my life, being like, well, I used to do all these things and my schedule was there.
Yes.
And I knew what I was doing and how I was doing it. And once it's gone, you're just, okay, like, I need to get into the quote unquote real world. And well, what does that look like? And for me, man, I was already in financial services. So for me, it was slightly easier because I had something I loved doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, 8 hours a day in financial services is like, it's tough.
Sure, of course.
I would argue that, if you're an independent advisor, you're probably not working 8-10 hours a day making phone calls, cold calls, because you just won't have time.
Right.
Right. And it was hard just trying to be like, okay, well, what's this new routine going to be like? What's this new schedule going to be like? And I was lucky that I kind of fell back on, and I had a couple mentors in my life where I kind of fell back on, well, what were the things that swimming taught me? Mm-hmm. Right. Hard work ethic.
Yeah.
Always showing up, doing the grind, making sure I had a routine, you know, when your life is entirely routine and then you have no routine, that's the hardest thing, right? It's you not golfing. You're like, I'm not the best version of myself. Yeah. I'm not calm. I'm not focused. I'm not clear mentally. Maybe you make some poor decisions, right? Because you're just not used to this lifestyle, right? So what do you think from a lessons perspective? Do you think that golf has taught you over the, let's call it 25 years, right? What do you think that golf has taught you that is a good quality that you could take into quote unquote real life now that things are changing slightly?
So the one thing I would say that, and I actually posted this not too long ago, but the one thing that I know that I do, or I feel that I do better than other people, is my ability to like not give up is something that I'm really proud of. Even when I walked off, when I was kind of losing my round at the third round of the PGA Canada Championship, and I saw Zoe after, I was like, I'm so damn proud of how I handled myself there.
Yeah.
I have like no sort of give up. And in golf, and I try to explain this to my kids, it's cool to care.
Right.
Okay. It sucks when you get beat up. Oh, I shot 82 today. Grow up. When you shoot 39 and on the back nine you shoot 30, okay, you can do it, okay? And also, just because you had a crappy little start doesn't mean the whole day is done and gone.
Right.
Right? Now, I felt like I came to this naturally, naturally is a tough word. When I'd be 7 over through 7 holes, I wouldn't say I'm the best in the positive self-talk department. I'm more of a realist. I don't like to live in the fake. So I would say some things and I'd be a little bit hard on myself. But it would flip a switch and I would just focus and grind. And I think that ability to always be like, 79 is better than 80, 71 is better than 72, 65 is better than 66, right? There's that one shot always matters. Everything matters.
Yeah.
I think that's like the best quality I have. And as I go and become a dad and start to teach and things like that, I think that's kind of the whole point of life. I mean, I know that given the things going on in the world right now, there's a lot of people, especially around my age and my wife's age, and in some uncertain times, right? And things are going on, but it's even like when you're playing bad, you don't play bad for a day, okay? You play bad for a stretch of golf. Yeah. You just got to get up, you go to the range, you go and hit balls and you work your way through it. You hit your power balls, you go and chip and putt, you go play 9 holes. I can't believe I played terrible. You go back to the range. Yeah. You just got to kind of keep going. Yeah. Right. And my mom always kind of said, just got to get up. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. Come on, let's go. And my mom has rheumatoid arthritis and she's had her own health battles and she takes oral chemo. But like she just gets up, goes, gets up, goes, gets up, goes. And I think that in the softer world that we live in, my nose is runny. I don't want to go do anything. Yeah. Your body and your brain adapt. Like get up and go. Yeah,
you and I were kind of raised in the same era, let's say, right? Where, I mean, my parents were like, "Oh, you're sick? Okay, cool. Like, how sick are you? Yeah. Oh, you're just a little bit sick? Yeah. Okay, make sure you wash your hands, but you're going. Yeah, like you're still you're just going to grind." Yeah. And I learned in swimming, and then luckily I was able to transition into a business where we have this kind of funny saying with like, if you imagine you're on one side and your goals are on the other side, and the funny analogy I've always heard is there's this quote unquote pile of shit in the middle. Yeah. Right. And once you get into the middle, you have 2 choices. You can keep grinding and keep going through it. Yeah. Or stop and go back the other direction, but you're in the middle and the distance is exactly the same. Right. So what are you going to do? Do you put your head down and keep going, whether it's business, sports, finances, relationship, whatever, or do you retreat and go back the other direction? Yeah. Right. And swimming is it's again, different than golf. Of course, but same thing. You're just in the pool and you're like, okay, that practice wasn't very good. Okay, well, I'm going to come back tonight. Yeah. I'm going to try to refocus. Okay, that one wasn't that great either. Okay, but I'm still here. I'm still doing the work. Yeah. And that has a sense of, I would say that you're probably the same, is that gives you quite a lot of like confidence in yourself to be like, it's okay. I'm just going to keep grinding no matter what.
I'm not sure. I have this thing, and look, I'm going to get burned at some point on this, okay? I worked really hard growing up. I had a bunch of jobs, and so did my mom, okay? The last 20 years of my life, I've had a pretty great life.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I've done some
golf
cool
for
things.
a living, right?
I've played golf. I've gotten to meet people that I would watch on TV all the time. Mm-hmm. I got to hear how real business people talk to each other and how they make things happen on the golf course. I got to go and be at golf clubs that I'm about $1 million short on getting on property. The one thing I would say that I would take away from friends of mine that have made it, where I say I did a poor job growing up. If you go back and you look at the 2001 to 2009 Ontario and Canadian juniors and amateurs, you're going to see a lot of the same names, Nick Taylor. You might see David Byrne with Corey Connors and Mackenzie Hughes, a whole heck of a lot.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen Corey in a minute, and we played a lot of golf against each other growing up, and I remember seeing Corey at Fort McMurray, and he shot 75, 72, 2015, 14, and not good for him. Of course, isn't overly hard, it's just tight, and I was like, tough go, man. He's like, I'm just working on something to get better for Q school, and I didn't necessarily have the luxury of getting lessons at a younger age and whatnot, but their ability to do something now for the long-term betterment of their golf swing. Now, again, how my mind works and all that, I understand that I don't exactly work in that capacity. Mm-hmm. With this forward thing, 6 months down the road, I was more of an immediate fix kind of guy. And there's still areas of my life that are like that. But both Corey and Mac did a great job of that. Now they're playing on the PGA Tour and living out essentially, a dream that I had and whatnot. But that is the one thing when people kind of ask me this question. They did such a great job of being, not great now. So in 6 months, things will be better. Mm-hmm. And, I think there's some good qualities I have from golf, but like that is a bad quality I have.
Okay.
And I try to tell my juniors that, it's not about right now. It's about 6 months. I don't need you to be a great 14-year-old. I want you to be a really nice 18 or 19-year-old.
Right. It's interesting you say that because I think that transitions a lot into the business world.
Well,
entirely.
I watched you listen to one of your last podcasts, and you had mentioned something like that, and I was like, wow, it reminded me when I do this to try to tell that story, because a lot of these guys have this belief in this future. Hey, it's okay. I spent $600 now and got into this tournament. I have to do it in a tournament and get these feels and go through it so I can be better when it matters. Right. And I was a little bit different growing up, and I didn't have some of the luxuries that they did, but I didn't view things that way.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that, when people ask me, what's the one thing you would have done differently? That's pretty much the answer. Not that was your question, but that is pretty much the answer that I really always... That was going to be
one of my questions.
That's pretty much the answer that I always have. If I could go back and be like, David, relax, just go.
It's okay to take the one little step back now, or stay where I am now.
Yeah, and instead it was always
6 months later, be two steps forward.
Putting a Band-Aid on it, and wouldn't you know it, right? Now I'm gonna be 38, and when I was younger, I used to get really underneath and hit this hook. Well, Sean, guess what? I'm 38 years old, and I get a little bit underneath, and I hit this hook. Same thing for 20 years, okay? And so it's one thing that I think, and if you think and you look at Tiger, Kobe, these people, they have this thought process of
Jordan, all of
these,
them.
right? And I listened to this stuff more, and we didn't have Instagram Reels as a kid and YouTube as a kid.
Didn't have podcasts and all success business people telling us what to do.
And man, I would have loved it because, if Tiger would have told me to buy a banana and put it over my right ear, I would have done it. But like, I listen to these guys now and I'm like, wow, that is one thing that I definitely did not do ever.
Yeah.
And I think that look, I got a lot out of my golfing career, but I
Right.
think that's something that I could have
learned on.
I could
Absolutely.
have done better with.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think and so when I retired from swimming, went through this little bit of depression, let's say. And for me, it lasted maybe 12 to 18 months. And I had a mentor in the finance world that I was in at the time. And we basically sat down and he's like, man, like, you say you want all these things, but like, what are you sort of willing to sacrifice right now? And I was like, honestly, right now, I think and I had to be really honest with myself.
Yeah.
I was afraid of failing because I had done one thing for 20 years with the hope of getting somewhere and not getting there, that I went, man, like, do I want to spend the next 20 years doing something and still not get where I want to go? And that was like, wow, like, okay. But sports can be a finite game. There is an end. Baseball's 9 innings. Swimming is from here to there, however many times you have to do it, right?
Yeah.
Basketball, right? 4 quarters, whatever. There's an end to it.
Yeah.
Life and business doesn't have an end.
Yeah.
You can always get better.
Right.
And the thing he mentioned to me was that success and achievement are 2 very different things, right? You can succeed at a level, still not achieve what you want to, but that doesn't mean that you're a failure, right? And it took me a long time to be like, okay, well, in that case, man, like, I guess I really could take some lessons from my career as an athlete.
Yeah.
And turn it into the business world.
I struggle so much with, I guess, running my business. I'm pretty unorganized now. When people get in front of me for the 1 hour, most people say, "Well, yeah, that was really great. You were really with me for the 1 hour. You were really involved in the lesson. I really like that." But I'm just kind of being myself. When I started, like if I'm being really honest, I kind of fell back into teaching lessons. I just wanted to just keep on playing golf.
Right.
And I never had lessons growing up. And I'm very fortunate that a lot of people in our area know me or Big Break, and they come and get lessons. And they have this, which is, again, nice for me, this nice idea that I'm good at golf, so I'm good at teaching, which is, I hope that I'm okay, but I know that I have a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And part of it, like, when you said, like, your mentor sat you down and was like, so, well, what are you really doing to get what you want to do? And like, I kind of giggled because, like, I have so many great ideas and I have a lot of great things that I want to do. I have juniors telling me to start a YouTube channel because I'm not boring and I do this in golf, and I got to grow my business and get maybe a website or a booking app so people don't text me on Instagram or whatever the heck it is. Okay,
you and I have done that a few times.
I know. It's outrageous behavior. And then I go home and I can't find it anyway. And, right. And I know that I need to do a better job of these things.
Right.
And when I go to the golf course and after this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to give a lesson. And after that, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to go home and I'm going to sit down and make sure I pay myself that I've been trying to do for 6 weeks. And what I'm going to do, Sean, is I'm going to go and get a bucket of golf balls. And I'm going to go hit a bucket of balls, and then I'm going to putt for an hour. And Zoe's going to say, "Are you coming home?" And I'm going to say, "Of course, yes. What do we want to do for dinner?" And then we get home, and I want to hang out with Zoe, and we've gone and lost it. My ability to not golf is garbage. And I'm assuming when there's a kid crying in the picture, things with me will change. That's generally how I work. But I find me and like my golf and trying to transition into this new thing, like there is a little nerve-wracking part of, look, I became good at golf. Most people in Windsor think David Byrne, oh, he's a pretty good golfer, right?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to start to maybe be known I'd always like to be a good golfer. I want to be known as, maybe someone who's highly intelligent to go get a golf lesson from.
Right.
Right. Maybe I need to take a course in biomechanics.
Sure.
Right. Things like that. Now I do a great job of keeping in touch with people, and my connected circuit. What am I saying
Universe, your
here? Yeah.
circle of influence.
Right. Is nice. And I've met enough people, and enough people have been incredibly nice to me where if I don't know something, I can probably figure it out or find an avenue to go about getting that solved. But in terms of growing my business, like there is part of it where, you know, I'm in a bit of a stuck stand still thing. And I've heard you mention this on your previous thing you've done. And I got to somehow get out of it. Right. And having these conversations and even chatting with you the other night via Instagram and kind of going through something and in your mind being one place, but needing to do something else and all these things. Right. It's got to come together for me soon, and I need to start doing something instead of just saying it. But
sure,
it's curious. It's interesting for me to hear you say like I was almost scared to fail,
right?
Because I feel like sometimes I'm a little bit of that with the teaching thing.
Yeah. It's interesting because I think, and you know, in my world, you know, teaching and training people in financial services to be an advisor. There's always two avenues. I find people are either afraid to fail, and the other weird one, which I think I had for a period of time, is the failure of success.
Yeah.
They don't know what they would do with themselves if all the things that they wanted came true. Right? And that's a really interesting perspective to take, because what if I made the money I wanted to do? What would I be doing? Would I still be doing this? Would I be doing that? But I love doing this. And so there's interesting that in the business, sports, leadership world, mindset world, there's so many things that you can take away from that. Having people in your circle, and I love that you said that, is, and I would commend you for that, is the fact that you can be surrounded by people that will help you find the answer without charging you an arm and a leg for it or whatever, and they're willing, is huge kudos to you, because there are not a lot of people that have those kinds of people in their life.
I like I said, and I've alluded to, even in my wedding speech, like I am very lucky. Now, I don't know exactly why this is the case and whatnot, but look, growing up, everyone kind of laughs at this. Growing up, I wanted to have a husky, a hot wife, and play professional golf. Okay. All right. Look, that's what I wanted to do. Okay.
That's what you got.
It's exactly what I got. Now, I should have said I wanted to play on the PGA Tour and win on the PGA Tour. I wasn't very specific. Okay. But anyway, I got what I wanted. And through caddying out at Bel Air or playing professional golf in Orlando, even being at Detroit Mercy, there was a guy there who's actually does a ton with leadership. He used to work with the Maple Leafs, the University of Ohio. Oh. His name's Dr. Don DePaulo. And he always kind of would speak to our class about a third eye and viewing things from that third eye and how you perceive yourself. And I took a ton from him when I was a young man and our education class together, and put that into golf. And between people like that and then people in the world of golf where it's like, I was fortunate enough, someone from Windsor was a friend of Martin Chuck's. Martin Chuck is a very high level golf coach. I went out, got to meet him, gives me his number. Anything you need, ship me a text. If I need to have a question about fitting golf clubs, my buddy owns the biggest fitting thing in the States. I can send him a text. What do you think about this and that? If there's a question about pressure plates, Ryan Hawley, a PGA Tour coach, is coming in town Thursday, Friday. I don't know why people have taken a liking to me, and when I meet them, I met Aaron Dill and Bob Vokey one time in the Zurich Classic of New Orleans, okay? For people who don't know, Bob Vokey is Vokey, the name on the wedge you have, okay? And he spent 3 or 4 hours with me in a bunker, and they told me my grind. Awesome. And Aaron messaged me the other day, and he sent me a wedge. I don't know why. Yeah. Everyone is just so nice to me.
Yeah.
Now, someone the other day said it's because you put it out there and this whole thing. But I do know that I appreciate everything that I have, and I've my life is pretty cool. Yeah. Like I today woke up early to go talk about golf for 3 hours.
Yeah.
to sit here with you to talk about some golf.
Then you get to go play some golf.
And I'm going to go out and give a lesson and probably hit a bucket of balls.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go home and, you know, probably hang out with Zoe, but, you know, if we're being honest with ourselves, watch some golf swings.
Right.
Oh, I have a pretty great life. I would like my finances to reflect that, and hopefully in time that will happen. But I have a pretty fantastic life. I know, you know, people are like, your life is what you make of it, but my life is, you know, once I get a little more on task with my my business, I love golf.
I mean, listen, it all
golf.
comes in time, man.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes there's periods for it.
Yeah.
Right. There's going to be periods for playing golf. There's going to be periods for being a dad. There's going to be periods for getting the business and being on task and, you know, being managed properly, and it's all going to come. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And I told you this was going to happen because we're basically out of time. But this,
hilarious,
just like Ryan Donnelly's conversation, we could go. I could go on forever. This would be fantastic, and I'm sure we'll get you on another time.
Sure.
But you've got a lesson to get to, so we're gonna end the podcast. We always do. We ask our guest one final question.
Okay.
So, to David Byrne, who lots of different golf, lots of different lessons, meeting great people along the way. Manifested the husky, the hot wife, and playing golf. What does success mean to you?
I would like to say what everyone would want to say, right? Like, in my opinion, a lot of people say this. Sorry, I was going to swear. In my opinion, a lot of people say things that they don't mean, right? Success to me is having a house and a happy and healthy family and a car that works and a lot of money. Okay. And that's great. And that's awesome that people said that. And so other people can say that is a good person.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. I don't live in the fake world. Okay. I need to have more money, and I know that my finances need to get better. Sure. Okay. If I am excited to go home at the end of every single day and I can never wait to wake up.
Yeah.
I got to be doing something right.
Yeah. I love that answer.
I know that, you know, there's a few things in my life, probably a little more along the financial side of things that need to be better. And as we have a kid, that's, you know, I would assume and hopefully, and I know I'm going to do everything to make that better. Yeah. But there's a lot of people that are stuck in misery, right? Hey, you're having a kid, congrats. Can't wait till you get no sleep. Hey, don't do that. Oh, I did that and I failed. And one of the biggest things that I learned from being out in Los Angeles was listening to guys who grew million and billion dollar businesses and then quit, was everyone was like, hey man, great for you. That's an exciting new challenge. Yeah, I'm excited to get up and go to work. I love my wife and I love going home to her and I love playing golf and I love teaching golf and waking up in the morning. I assume if I keep doing these things, according to people who are smarter than me,
right,
this seems to work out.
Yeah. I love that answer because, and I've said this a few times too, is I can 100% get behind that because when I wake up, it's not like, oh, I'm dreading Monday and work is coming back and, oh, it's Friday. Thank God it's the weekend. Like literally 7 days a week, all the time. I love what I do. Yeah. I love the life that I have, the life that I've built. Does it mean that I don't want more? No. I still want more. I still want to do more things. I still want to travel. Yeah. But I love the thing that I've created. Yeah. Right?
I kind of hit, you know, a gigantic home run with my wife. She's the greatest and lets me kind of play more golf and do the golf stuff probably than some other people would. But I don't have bad days. Now I do. Okay. Maybe that lesson was frustrating.
Bad minutes or bad hours, but
I don't have bad days. I love my life. I love it. I want it to continue to get better. But it's nice not to be miserable to wake up and go to work. And it's nice not to be living for the weekend. I live for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Right. I'm going to probably go to the golf course. I'm going to have a really fun time getting to know someone. It seems that when I give people lessons, I become friends with them almost. I mean, our situation's different, but there's a couple guys I teach that like, we talk on the phone on the way home. Right. They're my friends. Right. And I love seeing them get better. And I love when people care about golf. It's just, I would love to own a house and have a car that works. I'm teaching golf, playing golf, and I love my wife. Is it supposed to get better than that?
Right.
I don't think so.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know I'm not that smart, but I feel like that's kind of smart.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man.
know?
I mean, listen, the other things will come.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You can build a business, you can do all those
Yeah.
things, but being able to do that and love Monday through Sunday
it's great.
is awesome.
I don't have bad days.
Right.
It's really nice. I'm very lucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Dave, I appreciate you taking the time
My
out of your
pleasure.
day to come here,
Yeah, my pleasure.
listen to me talk and share some of the wisdom that you've learned over the years
Yeah,
playing
thank
golf
you.
and doing that kind of stuff. I'm sure we're going to have some more conversations
sure.
off the podcast because
Yes.
I'm excited to learn now that I've learned some more stuff. And I know I've got some lessons coming up.
Yeah,
So
you
that'll
do.
be a lot of fun. But thanks again for coming. That's another episode of Cracking the Success Vault. So if you guys want to, find us, find our YouTube, find our social media, you guys are more than welcome to. Dave, thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Sean.